That's insane.
Anyway, drink check.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gongcha.
Gongcha. Delivery, because all the cafes are busy. People in Seoul, what are you doing at 4 p.m. on a Thursday?
Right, like, don't you guys have work to do?
Like, this is oolong milk tea with double pearl because I'm feeling frisky today.
Me, the usual mango juice with aloe vera pearl.
Oh, I've had this before.
It's because
it's the
okay,
apple
so they're doing discrimination based on where you live, because Apgujeongwon is like the best of the best. Where I live is not like this. The compass is not like this at all. Like, it's not the same ingredient. Like, we need to figure out what the can I say I don't know.
Hi, welcome to Quite Alright, a declaration of mediocrity and a reflection that life sometimes is actually quite decent.
Yeah.
Because we're two dramatic queens.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as it's quite alright.
Yeah. Very that.
So hi guys, I'm Orion.
I'm Gal.
French.
Russian.
We met in Seoul, South Korea. This is currently where we live.
We are, I think, terrible representation of our culture, so this is why please take everything we say on this channel with a grain of salt.
Yeah. We're not professional. It's just like we're talking to our friends. So,
yes,
disclaimer.
Yes. This is honestly, this is just us having drinks and chatting.
Yeah.
Anyway, today's topic, considering we've moved around a bunch of places and now we're sitting in Seoul, and we have no idea how we ended up at this point. We genuinely don't. But today's topic is moving into, frankly, it should be really more nailed down than whatever I'm about to say, but it is what it is. It's quite alright. Moving to a new place and establishing your routine and habits and just adjusting to a new life. Honestly, whatever the title says.
Healthy routine or something like that.
Yeah, I know, but the thing is, it's more than that. So whatever the title says.
Yeah. Once we will figure that out.
Yeah. Anyway, point one. Take your time.
Yes. Do not rush. Do not settle like crazy amount of goals. It's not gonna work. You take your time. You arrive to a new city, new country. You have to adapt yourself. So like, just chill. It's the first advice, for real.
Please do not set super specific goals, because you're not going to reach them, and just naturally, because your life is genuinely so busy. And it's gonna be very disappointing and hard-hitting when you set goals that you are not automatically set up for success for.
You know, I feel like people put too much pressure on themselves, especially when they're like, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna make the decision to move to a new country. So like, once I get there, I want to do this and that. I want my life to be like this. Like, it's sort of like you want to prove to yourself and maybe your surrounding that you made the right choice to move.
Oh yeah, so, oh my god, the validation is real.
And it's putting too much pressure on you, because like, oh my god, I have to do this and this and this, but it doesn't really work like that. Because especially for us, like, I'm from Europe, like I grew up in Europe, so obviously coming to Korea is so different from where I used to live before. So like, you need time to adapt. It's a new culture, it's a new language, there's a lot of stuff that you have to figure out on your own. Like, you cannot arrive to a new country and automatically get everything done, everything's perfect, like you understand everything and just roll with it. Like, it doesn't really work like that.
Let's talk about the most basic thing, which is a support system, because when you move to a new place, you're not going to have it unless you're moving in. Like, obviously there's special cases, you know, when you go in and you're like, okay, like maybe you're moving for somebody, maybe you move for a job, maybe someone's relocating. So many different possibilities, of course, right? But realistically, you probably know at best one or two people. You're set up for a lonely time for a while.
It's true. And it's normal, but it's just the process. Like, you have to accept it. I feel like when you decide to make such a big step of like moving to a complete new country, obviously you kind of know unconsciously. Unconsciously, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I said that basically when you make the decision to move to a new country, obviously like you have already in your mind this mindset of like, I'm gonna be alone. Probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to figure stuff out alone, probably. And it's scary, of course, but if it's really what you want, like, you will be able to challenge yourself here, and you always find help anyway. Especially if you come to like a Korean learning program, like there's so many foreigners in that are in the same case as you, like you can always find help like this.
Yeah, but also when you do come and you start making those friends, be okay with the fact that sometimes they're friends of convenience, and the people you started with might not be the people who you're gonna end up spending most of your time with eventually.
Definitely. I feel like it's like a protection kind of mechanism, because you arrive to a new country, you do not want to be alone. Obviously, we're all humans. We want to have our little like crib to be protected. So obviously, like, you arrive and the first person that are available, you're gonna be like, oh my god, okay, I'm gonna go to that person. But like, of course, the more you settle in, the more like you make up your own routine, the more you realize, okay, these are actually not really my people, so I can like change, and it's fine. Like, everybody's doing this. You don't have to feel guilty to be like, oh my god, like I completely abandoned like the people that used to help me at the beginning. Like, we're all doing this because obviously like the mechanism, like the survival mechanism makes us like, choose the first person that we see, basically.
For sure. Pat yourself on the back and like give yourself credit for just doing good.
Yes, because that's insanely brave to do this.
Absolutely.
Because not everyone, can do this, like abandon everything and just move to a new country. Like, you have to be kind of insane, a bit crazy, but like very brave. Because
a little, but also I guess it doesn't really matter, extrovert, introvert, or whatever. It's still a very big exercise in being on your own.
Yeah,
a lot of the time. And it's being on your own without knowing the language a lot of the times. Like, you're lucky if you do. This is not the case for us in Seoul, and I think it's not the case for a lot of foreigners in Seoul. And obviously it's not like going to Europe, right, where you can bet on English relatively safely to more or less explain yourself.
But also it's hard to make up, like, that's why it's hard actually to make up a good routine at the beginning, because of like all of those differences that you have to actually acclimate with. Because me, for example, like, I moved in Seoul back in September 2022, so almost 1 year, and it took me about like 6 months to really like have my own routine, because back then I arrived there and I started like the learning language program automatically. So like, I was like really focusing on like trying to assimilate the language as fast as possible. But obviously, before coming to Korea, I did not know anything about Korean. So like, it was a lot of information for me to like process and learn fast to keep up with everyone. And so during the first 6 months, I was so focused on that. I did not really have time to like settle in properly, discover the culture and the city and everything. So, and it's fine. Like, it depends on what challenges you put first, like you prioritize. But just to let you know again, that having a healthy routine when you move to a new country, it takes time, and it's perfectly fine. Like, everyone's different. So
what are some routine points that like helped you?
I think when I started moving on in my own place like 6 months ago, I was able to like actually, I have to stop using that word, adjust with the neighborhood where I was. Register to the gym was something really important for me, because I like exercising. So like, having back my own like comfort zone that I had back home here is what helped me make this like routine a healthy routine. Like, trying step by step to put like stuff that I used to do back in Switzerland or France here, actually.
That's actually such a good point that I didn't think about before. Like, when you stop attempting everything at once, is really when it helps. Like, if you know that something works for you, just try to find a way to do it here.
Exactly. Because, for example, like, we have classes from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. 5 days a week, and I know that I like doing sports, but I cannot really do this after class, because we often have a lot of homeworks to do or other plans. So I was like, okay, I will wake up earlier and make time for myself, like at least 1 hour or 1 hour and a half. I go to the gym before class. Of course, I have to wake up way earlier than usual, but at least in my head, I'm like, okay, today I did not only do like Korean learning stuff, like I spent 1 hour to the gym, I did stuff for myself, so I feel like better when I'm forcing myself to like do these little things that makes me happy.
I mean, I don't think you're actually really forcing yourself in the end, because like you kind of, I know for me, like I'm not a morning person, I'm like Orion completely. So my morning routine is basically simplified to 30 minutes of the equivalent of get up and go and get on the public transport. At the same time, because it's so simplified, and it
works
very exactly, but it's also such crucial tasks that I realize they're like a grounding thing, right? And I've come to depend on it. Like my day does not go as well if I don't hit those points first thing in the morning, or I have the equivalent of like a night routine that I do the same thing. And I've also realized that my next morning is going to be much better if I hit those nightly points as well.
Exactly. Because that's the worst thing. If you're not allowing yourself to do stuff, at least, even if it's like 30 minutes, 1 hour and a half, whatever works for you, if you're not allowing yourself to do these on a daily basis, after some times you're gonna feel so like not dead inside, but burned out, especially when you are as busy mentally as we are, because learning Korean here is stressful and very intense. For those who knows, you know. So obviously, whatever it takes. It can be only like 5 minutes, whatever. When you're on the bus, like write your journal or listening to your favorite playlist, like whatever helps.
But also I think in general, just considering the modern world hustle culture, where they tell you, you know, you have to do this, wake up at 5 a.m., do 500 different projects. Like your language learning is like nothing in the hustle culture, right? So obviously stop listening to that, but stop working against yourself. Like when I realized that, especially as a person with ADHD, for like routines are already as hard enough as it is, when you stop going against how your brain is built, how you function, and I don't mean it just for neurodivergent people, I mean for people in general, when you stop doing things against how you're built, things start to work out. Who would have thought?
Yeah. No, that's true. The easier it is, the better it works. So like, you know, it's crazy because sometimes I'm like, I used to be like that before, like following all those crazy steps before going to school or work, whatever. You wake up at 5, you have to write like the whole plan, like, and then you have to do this and that and yoga and stuff. And then for 1 week I was able to do it, and then after that I was like, it didn't bring me anything except for additional stress. So
and you don't need more of that.
There's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. Let's simplify. And the more you advance, the more you can maybe integrate more stuff that you like. But it's a step-by-step process, for real.
Just do that one thing, you know, do that one thing that brings you joy.
Find one thing that you like and just
stick with it.
After that, it will change, evaluate, add other stuff. But also something else that I wanted to talk about is like routine during the weekdays is hard. So if you can do a little stuff that still helps you like go through the day, it's perfect. But also sometimes like I will caught myself like being so drained from the week that obviously on weekends I could not do anything. Like I would just,
that's okay. Like you just need to be compassionate enough with yourself.
And that's perfectly fine. But at some point I will feel guilty. I will be like, oh my God, I live in Seoul. Like this city is there's so much stuff to do here. So much stuff to visit, to see. I was like, what am I doing? You know, like I will put pressure on myself, especially because my relatives, like back to Switzerland, they will like call me and be like, oh my God, you only do studying. Like only thing that we seen on Instagram is like you in cafes with like your study buddies. And I was like, oh my God, like, okay, I have to force myself to do something productive on the weekend too. But the thing is, again, you cannot go against the process. Like if you're drained, fine, just listen to your body, be drained for a month or 2 months, and then step by step you will be able to find like something that the balance basically between studying like insane and still being able to enjoy the city.
For sure. For me also, what really helps is non-negotiables. Like I have a few points that I hit, and like, everything else is adjustable based on my level of tiredness. However, like for me, well, my 2 points that are like off the top of my head that are actually non-negotiables is I do journaling every day because that's for my mental health, but it's also for creativity. It really, really helps to just get, you know, the stream of consciousness out of the paper. And the second thing is my do not disturb mode goes on at 10:30 no matter what.
Ooh, I have it on all the time.
That's your introvert.
That's my introvert.
That's your introvert talking. But yeah, no, for me it goes on at 10:30 because I literally have friends I have friends who are 5 hours, obviously in Seoul, and some of my friends have really screwed up sleeping schedules. I have friends who are 5 hours behind, 6, 8, 11, and 16, which means I am constantly in conversation with someone.
I cannot do that.
Exactly. So for me, do not disturb mode has to go on at 10:30 for my own sanity because I need to go to sleep. And like when I see a message light up, obviously I'm gonna answer it.
Oh, really?
Okay, maybe this is an ADHD
We're
thing, right?
so different. Me, I'm like, that's my time to go to sleep. Like, you can message it unless it's like something urgent and you start calling me.
No. The dopamine really hits when you see that message and you're like, I'm gonna answer. And then you're in a conversation.
No, I'm like, if it's urgent, everyone around me, they know. If it's urgent, you call me. If you just text, I will be like, girl, this is my time for me. Like, I'm going to sleep. I'm tired. Like, I will see this next morning. It's fine.
Yeah, I only have my do not disturb, like the one, there's only one app that can go through, and that's usually the app my parents text me on, so.
Right.
Anyway, now that you've established your life.
Yeah.
Let's talk about goals.
Okay.
Because I think how people set goals is so different, so it's really interesting for me to hear how you do it versus how
how do I set goals?
Yeah. Do you want to start? Do you want me to start?
Start, because I
okay, because I love how I brought this up, right?
Okay.
But the first thing I'm going to tell you is goals don't work for me.
Okay, here we go.
Obviously I would call them aspirations, but like, you know, I just kind of free spirited. I'm like, okay, like I wanna, I don't know, learn to paint, right?
Yeah.
So what happens is when I say that, I'm just gonna go find that class and start learning it, right? And like, I guess my intermediate goal is to complete that class. But for me, it's like my aspiration is like, you know, I'm gonna learn to paint. Because I think a lot of the times, well, always the way I've been taught it, you have to, for productivity, you have to set goals with the SMART system, you know, I once knew all the alphabet letters, but it's like measurable, actionable, something, time and everything, right? So it's like, I'm gonna complete this class in 3 weeks. And do that, right?
That doesn't work.
No. And especially, I guess, because my interests are like, today I might feel like filming a video, right? Tomorrow I might be very inclined to use my computer science degree for no reason whatsoever. It's just, I woke up with that. So it's easier to kind of have those aspirations and just follow them. And then eventually you find yourself in very weird spots, which are sometimes on the couch filming a video.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I'm kind of the same as you. Like, specific goals, I used to think will work on me, and it doesn't, because it makes me more stressful and anxious than not having them. So basically what I usually do, I have like this big picture of like what I want to do, what I want to accomplish. And then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go step by step. Like, okay, I know that I kind of have to go this way to make it happen, but I'm not setting up like deadlines.
Well, I set up imaginary deadlines, kind of. Well, I guess in a sense of, you know, sometimes because it's so easy for me to procrastinate or just fall into like paralysis, basically, where I don't do things. So I'm kind of like, okay, but obviously I won't be super strict on them, right? But so like, in a week, do this.
This is where we're different, because how do I say this? Like, I don't put deadlines, because I know that if I really want to do this, I will do it. I don't have like, I won't procrastinate or whatever. You know what that's how we're different. That's why I'm not putting deadlines for me, because I know that, okay, I want to do this. Like, for example, I want to learn how to paint, okay? I will automatically, like maybe 5 times a week, 4 times a week, like do something that helps me get to that goal.
Oh yeah, no, you commit on the spot. It's
exactly,
impressive.
exactly. That's my strength, I guess. So that's why. Chill, because I realized like before I used to set like crazy goals and have like deadlines because I was like, how do you say this? I was like very in a hurry to like have these goals, like make this goal a reality. And I will always drop out after like 2 months because too stressful.
Same.
So now I think it's because we're growing up.
I mean, finally. Thank you.
It's just chill because the world is already stressful. The society is putting already too much pressure on us. Like we have to give ourselves time.
Yeah, but I think you also brought such a good point because, like, I think that's how I view things as well. A lot of the times, yes, you have that aspiration. You find what the first steps are, but you don't ever roadmap the whole thing.
No,
because as soon as you roadmap the whole thing, you really take away that. I don't even know what to call it, like a freedom. Part of it, of like the whole process, because like I think whatever you're doing, learning or achieving, is not a straight line whatsoever.
Exactly. You don't know what can come in your way, you know, like you cannot know exactly how it's gonna be. It's gonna be like this. It doesn't work like that. So that's why now I start doing it. I'm like, whatever comes my way, I will take it as a sign. Comes my way. Whatever comes my way, I will take it as a sign that I should continue for this goal. And this is basically how I operate. We said pretty much for the first video what we thought on having a healthy routine when you move to a new country.
Sometimes it might be, I guess, more specific to Korea because we live here and we're talking about it from this perspective.
Yeah.
But I think considering this is not our first country we ever lived in, I feel like a lot of this advice is applicable to pretty much anyone who's doing it. Honestly, if you're watching this and you're thinking about it, or you're watching this and you already did it,
congrats.
Congratulations. I just want to say we're really proud of you because like
you're brave.
Yeah. That is the bravest probably decision you can make, and to follow it through or just to take actions towards that goal.
Or to trust your gut.
Yeah, or trusting your gut. Genuinely. It's impressive, it's brave, and I hope that everything is going very smoothly for you in your process.
Or if it's not, it will. It always will. Yeah.
Anyway, this has been quite alright.
Yay! For our first
YouTube
video. So hope I will see you a lot on this channel. We have a lot of content that we think are interesting to put out there, so
yes, we hope you join us, and next time we see you, I hope you grab yourself a delicious drink.
Yay!
And join us for talks about nothing really and everything at the same time.
Yeah, that's the mood.
Yep.
That's the vibe of this channel.
Bear in mind that if you followed our advice and ended up in a very wrong place, we take no responsibility for it because we are not experts.
Yeah, we're not professional here. It's like we're talking with our friends, okay? So
this is all just for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, see you in the next one.
Bye. Girl.
What you see?